everybody. Thank you so much for joining in. I know it's very late in some of the places where you're joining in from, especially in Nigeria. It should be about 11 o'clock now. So I appreciate those of you who have stayed awake to be able to listen to this my live presentation. I'm gonna talk about this issue that has been going on. And remember, for those of you who don't know and who have been asking why I wear the orange beret, is because I am part of a consciousness that is beginning to develop, especially in our country, Nigeria, where we identify orange as the color of our resistance. Thank you so much, Val, Ojo, Frank, Onoche, Ode, and every other person who has come on, Eric Awayan, Engineer Eric Moore, Igwonwe. Thank you so much, everybody. So like I was saying, orange is the color of our resistance. It is not an organization, it's not an association, it is not any group, it is nothing. It is just an expression of the modes and the mood that Nigerians are in right now. We are tired of being tired. So we have embarked on a passive resistance. And even if you don't believe it, yes, revolution now. Thank you so much. That is our slogan, revolution now. It starts within all of us. If you're tired of seeing things that are not going right in Nigeria, then you're part of this movement. Okay. And we adopted orange because different colors mean different things to different people, and would not want anybody to confuse it with any kind of cult or any kind of organization. And so if you agree with us, buy an orange beret, put it on, make your own video, and let's put it out there. Power belongs to the people, and there is so much that we can achieve when we all agree on one thing. Today I came here to talk about Ibadan Polytechnic. I don't know if you guys have heard it. It's on the news that they collected telephones, mobile phones, and other mobile devices like tablets and iPad and all those kind of things, and they gathered it together from students from the exam hall and they set it on fire. Now, when you see things like this, it just breaks your heart. Why does it break my heart? I'm not even here to talk about whether what the students did was right or wrong, but it's just the act in itself, just a thought of that act in 2019. Whoever would have come with that kind of plan. No wonder you see the kind of plans and programs that our government comes up with. What we are telling the world is how backwards we are. That in 2019, we are taking phones from people and burning it as a way of preventing them from cheating. Let me go back from where I want to start. I grew up in a teacher family. My parents were teachers, primary school teachers. My father was the best teacher that I've ever come across in my life. Not because he's my father. A lot of people whom he taught will attest to what I'm saying. If you were in Onitsha then, in the 1970s, there's no way you will not know Teacher Ben Wansi. My father was very practical. He stayed with you. He coached you. For my father, if my father taught you something and you could not repeat what he taught you, he saw himself as a failure and not you. Because he felt that his duty was to be able to impart that knowledge. So if he had sat down with you and you did not know this thing, and he came to teach you this thing, and after teaching you, he asks you, and you still did not understand it, he will find another way. He will find another way. He will find different ways to make sure that you understand what he was trying to teach you. That's my father for you. And so with him, teaching was a practical experience. Teaching was something you looked forward to. He taught inside and outside the classroom, and he taught in a way that today we will call it teaching outside the box. And he produced A students. I'm not surprised that when I graduated from primary school, I left primary school with distinction. You know, if you went to school in Nigeria, you understand what I'm saying. I passed with a distinction, and I made a very good grade. In my common entrance, I got, I think it was aggregate 36, whatever was the highest then, that was what I got. And I got, was it 380 something over 400 for which one was that now? To enter the federal government college. Was it common? We did common entrance and we did standard 6, but I was like, I did very well because of how my father taught me. My mother too was in the school system. My mother was a teacher. I was also a non-academic staff member. She was a matron. So we were brought up in a teacher family. When we went into secondary school, that's when things started changing. We started seeing that you could have teachers who were mean, because you know in primary school you stayed with, in those days you stayed with one teacher, so that teacher was just your class teacher, except when you went to, you know, we had just one, I think we had one teacher teach you all through. But when we came to secondary school, then we started mixing with a lot of teachers. That's when we began to see that some teachers were better than some other teachers, and we knew the power of a teacher, you know, and how a teacher could influence how a student learned a subject. For instance, I never liked chemistry. Up to today, whenever I hear about IUPAC names and nomenclature, it just gives me a feeling that I don't like. Why? Because I had a teacher then who made us hate chemistry. How? This teacher will use words like the substance, and he will keep saying the substance, and we kept telling him, why are you calling substance substance? We later started calling him man substance, and then later we started calling him man subby. But we didn't want people like me, just because of the way he pronounced the subjects and the way he the way he pronounced the words when he was teaching and the way he went about teaching. I didn't want anything to do with his course. This was in my secondary school, and so I avoided chemistry. Then we came into the university and it was worse. In the university, you had lecturers that told you that, look, my friend, I promise you, you will not pass my course. Rather than you pass my course, I will leave this school. And these lecturers survived years and years and years in the school system, and nobody did anything about it. I studied architecture. We had lecturers who would fail you for finding, like, it was ridiculous, for finding something that you would, a dot, a tiny dot that was made by a pencil, because I studied architecture with drawing board and pencils and all that. even if you got the answer, because, and this is when he will fail you because there was a print, a stain from your finger in a minute corner of the sheet of paper. He will fail you. He will fail you because there was a dot, a pencil dot where it wasn't supposed to be. He will fail you. Fail you for so many ridiculous reasons. I don't want to talk about the ones that had relationship with our female students and all those kind of things. But let me now fast forward to a system that has failed. The school system in Nigeria, the tertiary school system in Nigeria has failed completely. This is a system that when people are taking even the JAMB examination, there's so much malpractice in the JAMB examination. And even after the JAMB examination, people don't get into schools based on their scores in JAMB now in Nigeria. People just pay for the courses. I've had my cousins send me texts, send me letters and say, brother, I want to do this course. So, and in this university, it is 500,000 for medicine, 300,000 for engineering. There is a price on every course that you want to do right now. So who are we deceiving? So the students that you find in the tertiary institutions in Nigeria right now are products, not all of them, but many of them are products of a system that has already failed, a system that has corruption inherent in it. Let's talk about their living conditions. I don't know if some of you have seen the living conditions of some of our students right now. In a room that is meant, we thought it was bad when we were leaving school in the 80s. I mean, yeah, in the 90s, early 90s. We thought it was bad. But now students are they are made to live in rooms that are made for 4 people. They are living 15 in the room. You may think that what I'm talking about is an exaggeration, but I know what I'm talking about. I've had to send someone to the schools to get me pictures, and I'll share these pictures later. But they are horrible. Horrible. The kind of pictures that they sent me that we have in our tertiary institutions right now. Our tertiary institutions right now are where lecturers have to force the students to buy books, to buy materials like handouts and stuff like that. They have to threaten them with all kinds of things. These are people who, based on the state of our nation right now, they barely make it through school. Their parents are not able to support them. They're finding it difficult to get by in school. They don't have pocket money. Not like in those days when you have your uncles and aunties giving you pocket money. Right now, you're on your own. They don't have the facilities. 60 to 70% of their school year, they're at home from one strike or the other. The process by which vice chancellors and lecturers are brought into school is highly rigged. It is warped. It is not based on merit, and these students know about these things. And then, in an age of technology, where people are scratching their heads and trying how to become 2019 compliant by using technology, in an age where we are imagining how life will be with a 5G network. In that age, somebody is confiscating a mobile device. Let me explain to some of these people. This is for them. I hope they get to see this video. Let me explain to you what is contained in a mobile device, in a phone. A phone writing something, storing information like text, like a notebook, like, yes, like the lecture that you gave which maybe they converted to PDF and they stored it. It is about 1% of what this phone does. This phone contains contacts. Thousands of contacts. Before, when we used to store our contacts in the phone, when you had a phone that allowed you to store 5,000 people, you were like, wow, this phone is too much. Right now, because your contacts can be stored in the cloud, I hope they know what cloud means. Now you can store 1 million, 2 million contacts. This phone is a way through which people connect with their account in the bank. This phone contains pictures, contains videos, evidences. This phone contains people who have snapped pictures of memorabilia, of loved ones, of events, of occasions, of things they have treasured for how many years. They have had to move it from one phone to the other. That's what is contained in this phone. School work is a tiny percent of what you have inside those phones. And so, because you have bad teachers, because you have teachers who don't understand how to handle students, you are producing students who did not understand what you were teaching them. They didn't learn anything. A good teacher imparts knowledge to you, so much so that you are here. When we came to Canada, and I'm not saying this only in Canada, it is done elsewhere. We had to go back to school to make up 1 or 2 courses to qualify for membership of the Architectural Association here. And so when we went back to the University of Toronto and took the courses that we took there, when it was time for exam, it was an open exam. It was an open, they just set the exam on a piece of paper, 1 or 2 questions, and write. I'm telling you, if you like consulting, so people, you have your internet, you have your laptop, you have your because these days it's not about how much you can cram, it's about how do you solve a problem. The lecturer has taught you that when something is dirty, you wash it off. You can use soap, you can use detergent. If you want to use oil. So the thing is, the lecturer will ask you in the exam, look, I have this dirt on I have dirt involving oil and involving paint and involving mud. How do you wash it? So the job of the lecturer is to see how you applied your own reasoning. When you ask that kind of a question, when it's a reasonable lecturer, everybody's answer will be different. I remember one of my lecturers that came into class one day. She taught us architectural forms. A German lady. She just walked into the class and he says, today, what I'm going to teach you guys, she had a pot, a clay pot. Beautiful, nice, ornamental clay pot. I said, today, what I'm going to teach you is based on this beautiful pot that I have here. And the next thing she says, if I let this pot go, and she let it go, and the pot fell to the ground and it smashed. This was my first year architecture. I'll never forget that lecture. When the thing was falling, we all screamed, we dived for the thing, but it fell and it broke. And she looked up at us and everybody was confused. And she said, uh-oh, I've created chaos. That is our lecture for today. Your assignment is to go individually and you create chaos. Every one of us left that class not talking to each other. By the time we were submitting this assignment, no single person's assignment looked like the other person. We all came up with different ideas of our interpretation of chaos. And that stuck in my head. She didn't have to write anything. She didn't have to give us anything to cram. That is a good teacher. And so you have not done your homework well. You have not made sure that these students actually understood what you taught them. And so you set exam for them. And of course, being in the system that they are, there is already a failed system anyways, they come in with their phones and their tablets. But watch this. You search them either before they entered or during the exam, and you collected the phones from them. You already collected the phones from them. So they didn't use it to cheat in the exam. By the way, I'm not supporting anybody being disobedient or breaking the law. I'm sure they must have been told that if we find you with any phones, we will seize it from you. But I'm trying to tell you that you should look at the root cause of the problem. The reason why this much number of people are depending on their phones. And let me even tell you, this is an age where everything is on the internet. My boy who is in the primary school uses his calculator when he wants to figure some things out. I can't tell him, no, you can't use a calculator. He knows how to do the sums with his, just writing and calculating. He already knows that. But he plays games that are more sophisticated than I too cannot even play some of the games that he plays, and he's just 9 years. Their brain they have moved a level ahead of me. The games he plays right now, they are more complicated than what I can even understand at his age. When we wrote our thesis in school in those days, we had to go to the library and consult books. And then they told us we should not lift things from the books. It was different then. Now, information is at everybody's tips. You don't have to go and sit down in any library to write your thesis. There are e-books everywhere that people consult. They can get pictures. Those days, if you are doing a research on anything, you had to go to that place. You had to take whatever, carry yourself and go and research that building and stay like a week researching that building. Now they don't have to go there. They have virtual tours. They can move around the building. They can call. They can get every information. Are you going to penalize them for doing that? Remember, the people they are competing outside there in the world are people who are already using this technology that you're trying to prevent them from using. Come on. They are competing with people who already are using technology in primary school that is highly sophisticated. How do you expect them to excel? You should be finding a way of integrating the technology that we have right now into what you're teaching them. Some of the lecturers they are still using the same book that told them that atom is the smallest indivisible part of an element or whatever. They are still using books that is telling them that the Milky Way is the only galaxy or whatever. That the sun is the only sun we have when that information has been updated. So what I'm trying to say is that it is absolutely wrong that after you took these phones from these people, you went ahead and you destroyed them. You know what I was asking my wife? I was telling my wife, okay, so it's like telling people that if you park in this particular place, we will seize your car. And then when you have people park in this place, like maybe the lecturers that have cars, after they park in these places, you collect all these cars because they have just broken the law. You collect the cars and you go and then you burn them. You set them ablaze. Don't you understand? Do you know the kind of information that after punishing these people, why go ahead and destroy the information that they have stored in those phones? Only in Nigeria. I'm telling you, you don't have the right to do that. First of all,
You did your job and you confiscated this thing from them. Now that you have confiscated it and they took the exam, you should give it back to them. Because that phone is not just your exam, that is their livelihood. Some of them, do you know what you have plunged them into? Do you know? Of course, sometimes people lose their phones, and when they lose their phones, that is what they lose, information that is in the phone. But I think that a decision to burn those phones, which are digital, is something digital, as a way of punishing them for bringing the phone. So do you think they will not be able to come with another phone another day? I think that the solution to this thing is for us to begin to come up with ways that is able to incorporate technology. You cannot do away with technology. Technology has come to stay. So you cannot do away with it. We need to find a way of, fast tracking, because we have been left behind. I saw one guy who was talking about the challenges, and I'll get this tip and I'll share it. It was a video where I think it was a professor. It was saying that where the world is going to, and we need to brace up for what is coming. Because now we have contact lenses with screens in them that you can actually browse the internet with your contact lens. And so if somebody is wearing that kind of contact lens and they are browsing, they can have access to whatever information that they have. Right inside an examination hall, what are you going to do? You're going to search everybody's eye to know who is wearing contact lens. There are people you can have hearing devices that you put right inside the ear that you cannot see it. The color blends with the color of your skin. And somebody can go ahead and be reading whatever they want to, read. Somebody can read it for them, whatever they want to hear, and they can put it down on paper. You don't know there are things like that. There are implants. Something you can wear in your mouth, and you can, a tiny speaker, and when somebody is talking, you'll be hearing it as long as it's on your body. There is even the one you can put under your skin. There are hearing aids you can put right under your skin through surgery. So there are so many things that are going on out there that if you really want to start, you shouldn't be fighting. What I see is we are fighting technology. You should befriend technology. You should be very, very good friends. You should cooperate with technology, not fight against technology, because technology is moving way ahead of you. It's already left us. So we are actually playing catch up. And so my advice for the lecturers of this Ibadan Polytechnic is that you guys need to apologize to these students. You have to find some way of compensating them. I know they broke the law, they broke the rules of the school, but then they didn't use the phones already. Even if they use the phone and you can make them repeat that course. But I think that it was a wrong decision for you to pack these mobile devices and for you to burn them. That means, like I said before, people can park your cars and go and burn them because you broke the law, because you parked them in a wrong place that you were not supposed to park them. That's my submission for today. I'd like to thank everybody for joining in. Go out there and find this news. If you want to make a video about it, you're welcome. If you want us to talk about it more, we can. And let me check. I had to remove the comments so I can focus. If there's anybody who wants to come in and say something, you can go ahead. I'll give you a chance. Thank you, Wisdom Solomon. It says, Chidi, I appreciate you being a voice for the voiceless. Darlington, Raphael, thank you, Raphael. As technology has come to stay and advancing to a new dimension. Yes, my brother, where we're going to, these people don't understand and they're burning phones. I remember when we had this case with the lady who was who had the incident with a certain man of God in Nigeria, and what the Nigerian police did was they confiscated her phone and they smashed it, but they didn't know that everything in that phone was already uploaded in iCloud. So when she came, she just downloaded everything. Okay, technology has really moved ahead. Download answers to the person. Obiageli Uzo. Yes, my dear. Jeffrey, can you imagine that? I be buy them new phones. Yes, whatever they have to do that to compensate them. I don't have any requests for anybody to talk. Period. Let them repeat. Bro, I like this beret. Yes, so go out there, Obiageli Uzo, go out there and buy an orange beret. It's revolution now. That's where we're going. AAC Taking Back movement. Yes, I'm left for president. Ayo Ogundime. Good evening, my brothers. These backward leaders. Yes, so that's what we. Obiageli also, yeah, my sister. Yes, also I knew you were my sister. Tall Bam Nusute Roy is watching. Yeah, Bam, please, you guys go out there and help us share this video. But I would like everybody, more than just sharing this video, to rise up and join this revolution now. And you see something, say something. There are so many topics, there are so many things that are going on in Nigeria that's not good. There's the Ruga, there's the Fulani headsman, there's so many things out there. Let's keep talking until one day we will be able to take back our lives from those that have continued to hold it and abuse it. From all of us in Toronto, Canada Worship Media Studios, this is Chidi signing out. Bye-bye.